I think that one of the toughest things to admit as humans is that sometimes life doesn't fall apart because we did something wrong or because we're failing or because we suck, even though that's what it feels like, but because we are being asked to relate to God and to ourselves in a completely new way. And I'm going to share a story of something that I experienced last year that made me come to this realization. Last year, I had one of the toughest years financially. It got to a point where I did some, I don't want to say bad investments, but I was reinvesting most of my revenue into my business, and my business was not generating as much income. So it got to a point where I was literally running out of money and I had $400 left in my bank account. And after having experienced so much abundance and success during my first years, being in the lowest point ever was very frustrating because this didn't just feel like lack, it felt like a blow to my whole identity. And around that same time, I received an unexpected bill for $5,000 that I had to pay. Otherwise, my business couldn't continue operating. And I had two options: either quit, close down my business, go back to a regular job, and just stop living my dream, or keep going, but not through hustle, not through effort, not through more strategy, but through surrender. It got to a point where I basically had no option but to surrender, to trust. And I started praying, but I didn't pray in the typical way, like praying and begging God or demanding for help, for support, for financial provision. I actually started praying in a very different way. And even though I was against all odds, 1 week later, I manifested those $5,000. And I was mind blown because it showed me how powerful we are as co-creators when we are not relying just in ourselves, but in something greater than us, when we really trust, surrender, and when we embody the identity of the person that has already accomplished, achieved, healed, and become grateful for that. Because when identity shifts, prayer shifts. And when prayer shifts, reality responds. And that was 2025, that kind of year, the year of shedding. A year where the old way of praying, the old way of asking just didn't work anymore. And I've shared the whole story and the exact prayer technique I used to co-create these $5,000 in 1 week in my latest podcast episode. So if you're curious, if you want to learn how I did it and just tune into one of the most vulnerable episodes I've done, comment prayer and I'll send you the link.